Good morning, evening, afternoon. I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel, and today we're playing Echoes, the Lucid9 fan game. Previously, we finished our first mission, which was kind of a clusterfuck, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, we got through it. We exploded a tank. The bridge is still there, I guess. That's cool. But then we found out that without our commander's permission, Kosuke volunteered us to do this super important meeting about the vaccine, well, the serum, and all that. Now we're in District 6. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. And we have our bodyguards back. I mean, even though I forgot Katsuragi's name, I still knew who he was eventually. Of course, ma'am. A lot of things have changed over the past 3 years, but one of the few things that have lasted was my disdain for hearing people dismiss themselves as unimportant or expendable. As hypocritical as it is, I never attempted to use logic to contain it. Maybe it's because deep down I know everyone's life is an investment of time and resources. And in times of scarcity, losses need to be cut. I don't want to think that way, but my goal is to remain functional. I need to keep that knowledge in the back of my mind. Knowledge that some people are worth more than others in certain circumstances. Words don't convey much about the potential of a human being, and single words like expendable are even worse. Using them just causes people to lose faith in themselves when they realize that there are more valuable people than themselves, than them, at least, in certain circumstances. You can't make an argument that someone isn't expendable or worthless if they've already made up their minds and decided that they're either, that often just makes them feel like they're being lied to. Aww. I hope I don't have to sacrifice one of them. That would make me very sad. I guess the only thing we can give to someone when they question or devalue them worth is a sign of understanding, perhaps one of faith. Existentialism, the philosophy that needs to be tiptoed around the most. No matter how much you discuss who people are and how much they're worth, the only real good you can do is by actually proving that you give a shit. I want to be honest, but I don't want to take a sledgehammer to anyone's soul. I also don't. All I can do at the moment is try to show the people who are looking out for me that I'm looking out for them. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the place, ma'am. Good luck there. We'll be out here if you need us. So, I noticed I haven't really talked about background too much in this game, except for the room where I talked about the many ways that I would fall over and trip and hurt myself. But I have to say, these are pretty detailed. If I can get into detail about where I would trip over things, it's a pretty detailed. And again, my thing of floors. Look at that. You can see that. I don't know what that's. Was it called grout? Not sure what that's called, but I love it. And a vague thing over here. Not sure what that's supposed to be. The plant. I feel like this is what you expect because it's not a big fancy district, so it's gonna have bare minimum of things. Look at that ceiling. The little lights. Quaint little place. Not what I was expecting to see in this part of the city. You sure about that? I'll point upward, the wall behind the main desk. Isao turns his head towards the upper section of said wall, taking a near instant note of it. Note of the three-dimensional Way Forward logo attached to its surface. Seriously? Does the board of directors really think they can make a profit here? I doubt it. Must be part of their most recent let's look good in front of everyone who can't afford insurance campaign. My response is enough to make Hisao smirk. Well, they've certainly spent a few emergency room bills worth on this one. Who's this? Miss, please. Out of nowhere, a raspy voice breaks the near silence of the clinic. After turning towards its source, I come across a sickly looking man on a hospital gurney, his legs strapped down firmly and his wrists restrained by short straps. His face is paper white, and despite his limbs appearing paralyzed, his torso and abdomen are trembling so violently that I can hear the mattress springs grinding below him. They're going to kill me, miss. Please. When I make eye contact with him, he makes a failed attempt to extend his arm towards me, though it allows me a quick glance at his hand. Right off the bat, it looks like someone filled a glove with water and tied it off. My first thought is the possibility that he's been exposed to a severe anticoagulant. It could have been a snake, but I don't see any bite marks, and the effect seems to be evenly distributed across both hands. Beneath the man's translucent neck, I can see a network of leaky blood vessels, stained a grim shade of deep violet, surging like a lightning strike in slow motion as his throat quivers and he struggles to not choke on his own saliva. If this virus accelerates metabolism, that might contribute to a rise in blood pressure. but a rise in blood pressure won't be enough to make someone turn purple, at least on its own. I wish I knew what was going on here. Maybe then I could do something to help this man. Ignore him. He's delirious. From behind a nearby curtain, a nurse in plain turquoise scrubs approaches, clearly perturbed by the two armored figures now casting a shadow on her patient. I'm guessing it wasn't the drinking water. Holding back my strength to not cause undue alarm, I gesture towards the man on the gurney. Any idea what happened to him? That's confidential. I'm afraid we can't share patient information of any kind with people who don't work at the clinic. Sorry, I should probably tell you who I am before I start asking more questions. What about the Special Services Division? Is it confidential to us? I don't have time for this idiocy. Yeah, I feel like she's in a different position. There's no reason to be rude to her. She must think I'm just a cop. In that case, I can't fault her for protecting the privacy of her patients. Nevertheless, I need to know what happened here to be of any use. And the best way to get information out of a responsible civilian like this is to take the straight and narrow path. Sorry, I should probably tell you who I am before I start asking more questions. My partner and I are from the Lucid cell of the Special Services Division. We are passing through to meet with the epidemiologist assigned to this clinic. Wait, you two are Special Services? I gesture towards the patch on my chest plate. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. I didn't see the crest. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Please, just don't add me to the list. I have a little sister at home. Trust me, it's fine. I'm not going to write you up for a misconception. I'd just like to ask you a few questions about your patient. Yes, of course. What would you like to know? Do I get to ask both of these questions? What can you tell me about this patient's symptoms? Do you have any idea what caused this condition? Alright, let's ask about the symptoms. Let's become house. It's not lupus. It never is. What can you tell me about this patient's symptoms? When he arrived, he was unconscious around 16 hours ago, I think. The first thing I noticed were the bruises on his limbs and the fact that it looked like he had just finished coughing up a mixture of blood and mucus before he passed out. Any nasal congestion or excess thyroid hormone in the blood? No, but we do make a habit of checking for those. They usually measure someone's been infected with the novel influenza. We find it its standard protocol procedure to give everyone inside the clinic a dose of immune serum. Thankfully, this particular patient wasn't affected by the virus, but the tremors, confusion, and psychotic symptoms honestly seemed just as dangerous, maybe even worse. His blood pressure was 260 over 220 when he arrived, but usually that just causes swelling, not capillaries to rupture. I wish I could explain why his did. Could he have been exposed and inoculated to an anticoagulant? I don't know why inoculated was the first word I thought I read. I was thinking the same thing. There's word from the other clinics in the district that we're seeing more people with this skin condition, almost always accompanied by delirium and acute hypertension. The problem is, we don't have a mass spectrometry kit or any of the chemical tests to see if an anticoagulant is present. I know it might be asking too much, but the central department have always had better funding than us. If you ran a few tests on some of the blood samples we have here, it could end up saving hundreds of lives. Medicine level 0. Agree to find someone who can analyze the sample. Alright, I have a 0 medicine level. Yeah, let's find somebody to do that. One of your current objectives has changed. Alright, objectives. Placeholder assignment, analyze blood sample active. A nurse working for Way Forward's clinic in the Block 307 quarantine zone has requested that you analyze a blood sample from one of her patients, or find someone who can. If you can't analyze it yourself, Isao might be able to help you. Rewards: plus 200 EXP, plus 500,000 Japanese yen, plus 50 like karma. Aww. So far, I'm a nice person. I thought I was going to be more evil in this game, honestly. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm still plotting murder, so again, don't know if it's possible, but if it is, I'll make it happen. I'm sorry, I'm not qualified to run these tests. I might be able to find someone who can, though. I'll put in a request for them to be analyzed. And here you are. And thank you. If you can figure out what's causing this, you'll be giving a lot of people a chance to make it out of here alive. Do you have any idea what caused this? Do you have any idea what caused this condition? Do you have any idea what caused this condition? I didn't know I was going to repeat the thing that I just said. We took a tissue sample and looked at it under a microscope. We didn't find any infectious agents or evidence of an immune response. So I bet on it being chemical in nature. The patient mentioned the phrase devil's blood several times. Given the alarming frequency of the kind of symptoms he's been exhibiting, we're starting to think it's an adverse response to a drug. Maybe even a poison. Black Star has always had trouble cutting off the flow of illegal substances into the district, which is incredibly unfortunate. If a street drug can do something like this, they really should be investigating it. The people here have been through enough. They don't deserve to have to cope with a brand new influx of side effects and withdrawal symptoms. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not an authority on law enforcement. Honestly, I'd say you're in good company. I'm a bit new to the practice myself. I'll notify my superiors. Maybe they can get to the bottom of this before anyone else gets hurt. I thought, that's nurse. I thought Black Star had jurisdiction here. Technically speaking, they do. But I'm sure we can figure something out. The nurse takes a step back, visibly disturbed. I won't interfere with any SSD business, but please be careful. Black Star can be a bit... Of course. The division knows its boundaries. Regardless of that fact, I should probably change the subject before she starts thinking that I'm planning a black op. What treatments did you administer to the patient? What treatment did you administer to the patient? Initially, we hooked the patient up to an oxygen mask and used a few beta blockers to get their blood pressure under control. After that, we used a light diuretic to alleviate the pulmonary edema, and then administered some buprenorphine. I bet I know this word and it's messing me up because I'm seeing it spelled out. Buprenorphine. For the pain. Like ibuprofen. But, that. Sadly, I was doing so good with my medical terminology too. Sadly, we don't have any antipsychotics on hand, so we haven't been able to do much about the hallucinations. Even if we did, none of us are licensed to use them. Really? That's quite unfortunate. More unfortunate than that, however, is how limited my options here really are. Actually, now that I think about it, I might have enough knowledge to effectively treat certain symptoms of psychosis, but I'll need to confirm that I'm carrying something with me that'll work. Use thioprenidrol to treat patients' psychosis. Keep your interference to a minimum. Save the patient, save the world! I'm gonna get in so much trouble. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to interfere, but I'm going to. I actually have something that might be useful. I put my freshly calibrated multi-injector and affix a new needleless infuser to it, rotating the dial until my chosen drug lines up with its aperture. This is thiopyridrol. It's an antipsychotic that the division uses for psychological triage operations. Sort of the mental equivalent of battlefield surgery. The techs who designed this made sure that it was fast acting and only bonded to the target dopamine and serotonin receptors. As a partial antagonist, so extrapyramidal psi effects won't be an issue. I gestured towards the patient. May I? The nurse raises both of her hands and takes a step back. Don't let me stop you. I nod to her and gingerly approach the patient. Is the patient going to kill me? Please, I can still hear them screaming. Wait, what is that? What are you? When I roll up his sweat-drenched sleeve, his reaction is unsurprisingly panicked. But to be fair, if I were approached by a 6-foot-tall, faceless suit of armor with a syringe, I'd be panicking too. He resists. I push him back with an open hand. Lie still. I'm here to help. But they're still out there. I take advantage of his brief distraction and gently press the injector to his exposed deltoid. It releases the payload with a hiss and I take a step back. Hopefully, that might calm him down. I've given you something to ease the pain. It should start working within the next few minutes. My partner and I are going to keep you safe, I promise. I think I can feel it. It's quiet. Thank you. The man closes his eyes as I retreat, likely exhausted after being relieved of his terrible burden. It seems to have worked. Mind doing me a solid and keeping an eye on his vitals while he's dozing off? Yes, of course. Thank you. That's also her job. No problem. Is Dr. Kuragane here? Right behind you. Who's Dr. Kuragane? That's Dr. Wait. Is that who I think it is? I don't remember his name either. Wait, is that? No, it can't be. There's no way we'd run into each other. See, I didn't even give him a voice when I did Lucid9 because I couldn't think of a voice to give him, and he kept talking with the almost with a. It reminds me of like Gaelic, something like that, like you can. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this reunion goes in the next episode.